I mean, in our last conversation, you proved, referencing to international law, that
Yes.
this is not a legitimate state.
Yes.
And there's no way it can be legitimized in any way or form. So what next? Well, how do we then go to the basics and reestablish the states we had? Is that feasible?
But before we go there,
Yeah.
what does the international community say about genocide? You see, anything that we do, we have to be within the parameters of the law they've created.
Yeah.
To a larger extent, it is in our favor. The question is, do we know how to bring that law to life? That is the question.
Yeah.
Now, if genocide is a criminal offense, and we have proven here that we are living in a crime scene, like you said in our previous discussion, that South Africa is a crime scene. Yes, it is a crime scene. Now, you start asking yourself, Gutsi, our brothers who are now in government, who took over from an illegitimate government, a government that is genocidal to their own existence. Imagine that sort of naivety is way beyond measure, isn't it? Are they not complicit in the act of genocide by managing that illegal establishment? Let me go to the ANC. I will not even mention DA. Let me go to EFF. Let me go to INCAT. Who are the Indigenous Peoples Organization? Who are they? Let me go to MK. Let's go to ATM. Are they not complicit in continuing with what the invaders have started when they invaded our nations, our sovereign nations, destroyed our nationhood, established an illegal nation called South Africa, an illegal state called South Africa, and they took over that state with its systems, and they want to rule us with a foreign system. When they are indigenous people, they are complicit.
Yeah, actually, no political organization is talking about taking the monarchs back to their place. They're talking about recognizing them as some custodian of culture. Small, a very insignificant person there looking after a culture of a certain group, making sure that it exists there for whatsoever reason. Some of them are even reasons like tourism.
My brother, what you've just mentioned is very true. Look at, is it chapter 12 of the Constitution, that which speaks of traditional leadership? There's no political force. When nationhood prior invasion had a political force, the monarchs had political force. Why has particularly the ANC, who claims to be the major liberator of our people, I'm saying they're not the major liberator of our people. They're the major conspirators against the invaders and the occupiers of our indigenous monarchs. Because if you go back to when ANC was established in 1912, the ANC spoke of enfranchisement. Enfranchisement, what is enfranchisement? The right to vote. This is what the ANC was formed for, to fight for the right to vote. Now, how did that vote come about? What system is that voting? It's a colonial system.
Yeah.
They imposed that system after they have invaded our indigenous monarchs. Now, why doesn't the ANC fight for the restoration of those monarchs? Who was the ANC fighting for and against? Well, today I can clearly tell you with confidence that the ANC perpetuated invasion and occupation of our indigenous monarchs. I'll give you a practical example. In 1914, Sol Plaatje and his crew, they went to the Queen. They said to the Queen, listen, we want to be part of your system.
Yeah.
We don't want to be left out. Left out of who? What? The colonial system? Excuse me. Who was the ANC formed for? If they were formed for the indigenous people, they would not have gone to the Queen to beg the Queen to be part of the system. They would have followed where Bambata had left 5 years prior. Because Bambata was the last fighter against invasion, against occupation. Who's speaking about Bambata today? We are hero worshipping people who perpetuated our occupation and our invasion. That is sick. Now,
but are we not in a position of no go back? We cannot go back. We've been brainwashed so much to believe in this system that we advocate for it. Throughout Africa, we're advocating for it.
You're very right. You're very right. We are in a position, what is so interesting is that the law allows us to go back. The law allows us to go back.
Yeah.
But if you don't have, I don't want to use this term, but if you don't have wise politicians, let me rather use it. If you don't have wise politicians who are proud of who they are, you'll find people that perpetuates the system without being conscious of the genocidal character of that system. And it's throughout the continent, except for Eswatini. Where the king rules. And everybody's against that, and everybody's fighting Mswati to say but say we the last what?
Absolute monarch.
Bafuna ukuthi abe democratic monarch. Where have you ever seen that? Democracy is an epidemic to our customs. It's a foreign culture. We can't continue with that. I mean, every 5 years, Tsatsi President said Jove. Imagine that. Have you ever realized that?
Yeah.
What comes out of it? Every 5 years, said Jove, not the president. Okay? But our minerals every single day ayapuma out of our ground, out of the so-called South Africa, and they're going back to those multinational companies, countries to develop their economy, not ours.